When we compare Batman and Daredevil, we're diving into the minds and lives of two of the most iconic vigilantes in comic book history. Bruce Wayne, a billionaire playboy turned crime fighter, uses his vast wealth and resources to equip himself with the best gadgets, weapons, and combat training available. Under the mask, Batman is a symbol of fear, striking terror into the hearts of Gotham's criminals. His backstory is driven by tragedy. Witnessing the murder of his parents inspired his unrelenting quest for justice. Matt Murdock, on the other hand, grew up in the gritty streets of Hell's Kitchen. Blinded in an accident that enhanced his other senses, Daredevil relies on his unique abilities to fight crime. Unlike Batman, who can fall back on his financial power, Murdock fights with what he has: his honed senses, agility, and a lifetime of martial arts training. Where Batman is a symbol of fear, Daredevil becomes a symbol of perseverance and hope for the oppressed in his city. Both of these heroes are motivated by justice, but their methods and the environments they protect are vastly different. This makes for an intriguing clash when we imagine these two in a face-off. Combat abilities and skills. Now let's dive into their combat abilities. Batman, as we all know, is trained in nearly every form of martial arts, making him one of the most dangerous hand-to-hand fighters in the DC universe. But it's not just about brute force. Bruce Wayne is also an expert strategist. He can analyze his opponent's strengths and weaknesses, formulating battle plans in the heat of the moment. His arsenal of gadgets, from the iconic batarangs to advanced technology in his suit, gives him an edge over most foes. On the other hand, Daredevil's martial arts prowess cannot be underestimated. His radar-like senses give him an almost supernatural edge in battle. He can hear the faintest sound, feel the slightest movement in the air, and sense danger from all directions. While Batman uses gadgets, Daredevil relies solely on his body and heightened senses to read his enemies' movements and predict their attacks. His agility, speed, and acrobatics give him an advantage in navigating urban environments and close-quarters combat. The question here is whether Batman's technology and superior planning would outmatch Daredevil's raw instinct and heightened senses. Both are experts in their fields, but in terms of combat alone, Batman's versatility might give him a slight upper hand. Mindset and tactics. What separates these two heroes even further is their mindset and approach to battle. Batman is often cold, calculated, and methodical. He rarely acts without a plan and has contingencies for every situation. In many of his fights, Batman is known for predicting his enemies' moves and outsmarting them before the battle even begins. He uses fear as a weapon, intimidating opponents before they even engage with him. Daredevil, however, relies more on his instincts and quick reactions. His heightened senses allow him to react faster than most opponents, and he often fights in the moment. This gives him an edge in chaotic environments where things can change in an instant. Daredevil's fighting style is aggressive, relentless, and unyielding, a reflection of his years spent protecting the streets of Hell's Kitchen. But when it comes to a strategic and tactical battle, Batman's intellectual prowess and ability to manipulate the battlefield might outshine Daredevil's more instinctive approach. While Daredevil can adapt on the fly, Batman's careful planning often gives him an advantage, especially against foes who rely on their instincts. The final showdown. Who will win? So, what happens when these two vigilantes finally meet in battle? It's a fight that could go either way depending on the environment and circumstances. In a confined space, Daredevil's heightened senses and agility would give him a significant advantage. He could sense Batman's every movement, dodge attacks, and strike with precision. However, in a more open or gadget-heavy environment, Batman's use of technology and strategy would come into play. He could easily counter Daredevil's attacks with his gadgets, creating distractions and using the environment to his benefit. One major factor to consider is how both heroes fight for justice, but with differing motivations. Batman, fueled by the trauma of losing his parents, is willing to do whatever it takes to maintain order. Daredevil, on the other hand, is driven by his Catholic guilt and moral compass, which makes him a more empathetic and sometimes hesitant fighter. This difference in mindset could tip the scales. Batman would be less likely to hold back, while Daredevil might be more restrained in his approach. Conclusion: a battle of equals. In the end, it's hard to declare a definitive winner between Batman and Daredevil. Both are exceptional in their own right, with strengths that could easily exploit the other's weaknesses. Batman's superior technology, strategic mind, and diverse combat skills make him a formidable opponent. But Daredevil's heightened senses, agility, and relentless nature make him an equally dangerous challenger. If we had to choose, Batman's preparation and resourcefulness would likely give him the edge in most encounters. However, Daredevil's heart and ability to adapt to his surroundings would ensure that it's not an easy victory for the Dark Knight. Ultimately, the true winner depends on the circumstances of the fight, but in most cases, Batman's preparation would allow him to come out on top. Check out my other videos for more epic character crossovers and battles. Thanks for watching, and stay happy and healthy.